Interesting. I just sat and watched the last few scenes of a movie made back in 2022. You know, when I was even heavier and was recovering from the toxins that I have trouble adapting to my body to survive from my vaccine and the chemical abuse from the job and the freezer and stuff. After all the things I'd been compromised by, soup kitchening and all this stuff, and having stuff in my body I didn't put there when I challenged the military, you know, physiologically in 2017. I had to do it. It wasn't a macho thing. It was a common sense thing, you know. In 8 months I can drop this weight, focus, I have no discipline, and give myself in like 10% body fat, and after all this hell you guys put me through, and get in shape like you train killers. And then one day you can pull your head out of your ass, and you won't. And then I was hoping, they would come up and say, yeah, he's right, let's pull our heads out of our ass and go shake his hand, man. Guy's amazing. I mean, he does the right thing all the time. Like Mary Montalvo said, what's law talking about? You don't have an ego, Parsons. You don't have an ego. Oh, you defend people, if you're given bad information, you correct yourself. But you're always, like with Randy Murphy, no, he's just being one of the boys. Don't try to ruin his career because what happened was inappropriate in Panama with the officers and all that. That wasn't his fault. It was just, hey, go get Soli in here to hoo-hoo-ha. And I ain't going in there with those drug dealing, murdering piles of shit. He didn't know. The good old boys, they were throwing a war party. They just went, and then afterwards, they prosecuted guys in the army that went on vendettas, personal vendettas, and went and used that operation to go kill people they wanted killed that were not part of the operation. If they were part of the operation, it would have been okay. But since they went off and compromised the operation, then they had to make an example of them, right? And so, hey, you ain't the head narcissist in charge, George Herbert Walker Bush is. Right? And so, it's like, wow, this sucks. Yeah, it really does suck. But you guys got to understand, I did not understand these people. Empathy and respect, no, you can't have respect and empathy for people that do the things that they did to me to try to be better than me, right? And the thing with the Quorum of the 12 did it, the Vatican did it, Scientology did it, okay? I don't know what other groups, I really don't care. It's not fair that all these people are communicating to him. And so I guess their main thing now is think of if we diminish and reduce all the people that are praying to him to save them from us, then we'll be able to maintain our position because we're right and they're wrong. We're good, they're bad. They're the ones who invented money. They're the ones and we'll eliminate money and we'll eliminate all this stuff as soon as we get rid of all the bad people. And there's no evidence to support that I'm Genghis Khan and that Genghis Khan is my business partner, okay? That I'm the Taj Mahal builder, the Great Wall of China builder. And in China, they have that dumbass in China who's their, what they call president, riding along on this little Jetson craft, it's a joke. I don't think he's really doing it. Maybe he is. Smiling, it's like, why do you need that for? You need to really pray connect to Barboncito and Manuelito. Do you need it? Why are you doing it? Okay, so you're going to tear up the ecosystem, tear up the mountains that bring in the rain, and then you'll replace it with a science project that's not natural, that does not do natural things. Man, women, okay. Eat yet? No. You hungry? No. Hand me your hat. Right. 5 o'clock in the morning, he don't even give it a second thought. That neck is going to fuck you up. Right. And so you sit there and you look at things, and, I told them when I first got to Sierra Vista, I understand. I understand your doubts. I understand you're upset with the unreasonable bullshit and everything like that, but you cannot blame. That was the whole point of the book about Parable of Juan and Jesus that I had been compelled to write down and explain my whole life, because I told you with the one that I did earlier, and I didn't write down because I didn't want to offend the Biko and Marley family by using my prayer to make myself rich and famous to draw attention to me. The timing was wrong. Right? Oh, the prayer was wonderful. Okay, they were the two angels that I could only get a hold of because the prophets, the apostles, and messiahs before that, because of academia and institutionalization, were too busy answering for all the things done, all the sins done in their name. And Bob and Steph hadn't reached that point yet. They're there now. Oh yeah. Bob Marley and Steve Biko are philanthropy angels. Okay. Shortly after that time and everything like that, they had a movie called Cry Freedom. That was when I was in the service. And then they've had lots of, and so yeah, since then they've been turned into institutions for philanthropy. But when I was ready to, when I had those prayers and to write down that book, they hadn't been philanthropized to the point where it's like, in Massachusetts, the Kennedys, the Gats, right? The Gats, right? Yeah. It's flan. We don't say flan. It's a drive shaft in Arizona, not a drag. Fuck you, Alan. That show is funny, old Dickie Thon. But no, you can't have empathy and respect for people that will not admit they're wrong. You can't. I don't have empathy and respect for Louis Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad, Lyndon Baines Johnson, Richard Nixon. When people don't, repent. You can't have empathy and respect for people that, it's basically what it looks like we're heading for is Chris Brown and Rihanna. Don't tell me you're sorry because you're not. You're only sorry you get caught and you're so ugly when you cry. Right? Everybody, you believe him? You believe he's contrite? Okay. We had to catch him, lock him up, and stop him from mentally raping people with technology in Santa Fe in this rented house that had a legal contract that say they could do this because of the international security of their tax-free organizations. Right? Oh, shit. Really? I understand. Like I said, when I got to Sierra Vista, I understand. I understand completely your doubts about me, your doubts about Christianity and Islam, your doubts about it because of all the shenanigans that happened, like with David and his children and so forth. So I understand that you do have doubts, okay? But they're not reasonable. Okay. When one guy, when one family gives you Genesis, Psalms, and Proverbs, and the other gives you, the Art of War and Communist Manifesto and Machiavelli's The Prince, it's like they're not even in the same ballpark, even with mythology attached to it. With the thing, I'm certain, like with Troy and other things and stuff like that, I'm certain the stories about Krishna and Shiva and Vishnu and so forth and stuff like that, or whatever, I'm not quite sure, but I'm certain that they're based on truthful events and they got mythologized, stuff. But there were massively horrible things, like that one where it shows the Persian woman with the nice modest outfit with the big boobs being burned alive in a big thing with the Romans and all that stuff. It's like, oh, let's just open that sky again. Let's yeah, they probably would have done things like that with their attractive women. Yes, because she would be the Holy Grail, or the Grail, the woman who produces Xerxes. So yeah, they're gonna burn her alive. Xerxes was not a nice guy. Okay, that's the mother. That's the line of the mother of Genghis Khan. That's the one of Vlad the Impaler. That's the mother of So yeah, they're gonna do that. Okay. No, with us, what happened is they tried to Knights Templar and all that. I want to be the seed for the God there. I want to be the seed for the God. And it has to be a sincere person that really loves the Messiah. I'm told that's what happened with Roswell. That people from, I don't know, alternate universes, I don't know what is, wormholes and stuff, came and said, stop fucking trying to engineer your own Messiah. Stop trying to get a guy who's of the same genetic background as Herschel Steinschneider. breeding horses, the best curd horses in all of Arabia. Allah decides, let's go eat, right? And that's what they had to do. Because these people are manipulation freaks. They're not control freaks. They're not control. They're not in control. They're not, get off the roof, get off the roof, get off the roof. Okay. I'm your worst nightmare. So yeah, they had it all wrong. It's the proper heart. Yeah, it's aligned with the proper heart. And then they get people, my dad's being totally agitated and abused by these people, and it's frustrating. Your son is the best man in the entire world that we have access to globally on social media at this time. And you think he's delusional because he only has 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 views. 1, 2 views. No one knows who he. And then you got this movie made in 2022 when I'm sitting in my apartment, fat and tired and poisoned by all his business partners that had a virtual presence in Santa Fe. We all know what happened in Santa Fe. We all know what happened in Sheridan. We all know what happened in Sierra Vista. We all know what happened here in Cruces. And we all know how beautiful, that him and his kids are. Emily's the sweetest sweetheart that ever was and gets so sad. Kate's the little protector. Noah's a little protector that they made fun of because of his dyslexia and stuff. And then think, of course Noah was out of line when he said that, but Amy said she was going to do that with him back when she was screwing everybody in Fort Huachuca that gave her Stockholm syndrome with the Jack Reachers and the Jack Ryers and the Top Gunners and all, you know what I'm saying? I just, when they're doing what they're doing, you sit and you watch it and you're like, you do know I'm the Messiah. I'm sitting right here and sitting here in this chair waiting on you. Oh baby, see things my way. And you're like, what? Oh, just, is it Carvana or is it Carfax or Carfax? I don't know. You just sold your car to, okay, what are you going to do? Learn a foreign language so you can be in the Navy and you can fuck a foreign hoe. Tom God, aren't they in the Navy? I think they are. They're not the Blue Angels types? I don't know. Do you really care? No, I don't really care. No, I really care about, the emotions and feelings of, William Smokey Robinson, who lost his girl because, we're still engaged in debt and trespass, and if you don't make enough money, it's not cheaper to keep her. You don't have never mind, I'm confused. Yeah, Just sit there, and the hottest girl sitting there in her little tight blue jeans, leaning against a Porsche. And if you notice the symbiology in that, and how they're buying you into the narrative that the bad guys, you can't see their eyes. They look like an armed attack, a Cylon, a robot, a mindless killing machine, right? And the guys that are flying around that are the good guys, you have clear visors and you can see their steely blue eyes and the emotion. This is not good. Okay, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for it. He tried to blow us out of the sky. That's a bad thing. But if we blow him out of the sky, that's a good thing. Working on a groovy thing. And you're like, why don't you just live the Lord's Prayer? I thought science was going to save us from Abrahamic religion. Forgive and trespass, love one another, serve with peace. Wow, I think quantum computing is completely incoherent and artificial intelligence has no capacity to go actual. I was going to try to get through this without being sarcastic. It's going to be very serious, Because I looked at it and was like, this is very serious. It's a very serious matter. Okay. Yeah. Tom Cruise is a very manipulative person who considers himself influential because him and Dave Miscavige want to replace my line as the standard of male behavior to protect children from home invasion through bad science projects, from debt and trespass through the invention of money and philanthropy. And it's like, no, because I already did it. Yeah, it's already done. It's Moa. I think it means Mohammed. The young man was M-O-H. And a lot of people spell Mohammed with an O. And some people spell it with U. So I think his name might be Mohammed. Because it's M-O-H is on his name tag. It's like, okay, that might be a nickname for him, but his name might be Mohammed, the most common first name in the world because of the beauty of the Messiah. And the most common surname is Li, because the tribalism and the breeding in China is very, very controlled. Okay, and the largest family is Li. Okay, and so you're like, what? So, aren't you glad we got a Bruce? He couldn't redeem the whole family. No, I'm just kidding around. But it happens. It happens, Like Joseph redeeming the Canaanites and stuff. It's really neat. Having been taught the lesson not to walk alone, I was waiting for the Good Samaritan, right? But waiting was hopeless, and the Good Samaritan did come. And it's funny because, I'm Ralph Earl Parsons Jr., NASCAR, not Formula One racer. Do we have Parsonses in Formula? I thought it was the Unsers. They're from Albuquerque. They're the Formula One racer guys, The Parsonses, we're NASCARs, We're the poorer set. We can't afford them. They're Formula One racing cars. We can really soup the hell out of our grandma's car that she used to wear to ride to church on Sunday after she gave it to us when she passed away. And we wanted to honor her memory by putting her picture on it on the side and her spittoon in the passenger seat from her ironing board, right? You think it's funny, but I'm not making this shit up. Okay. Oh, Lord. I think it's absolutely hilarious, okay? That during the apocalypse. Remember, I told you guys that too about my cousin Boop, right? Only faith in God would give you the line of the apostles, one of the lines of the apostles, who, him got dread in his hair and him speak patois, and him abused by both sides of the fence because you think he all that because him dad white and his mama, and then he black, Only faith in God could give you the beautiful message of one of the apostles of God in Bob Marley, and then you would all judge and say him bad because him smoke ganja, him speak patois. You can't understand what him saying, and him got dreadlock in his hair, for good prayer, like Solomon there, and Samson. Solomon would grow his hair long, and then when he had to keep company, and they always knew that. These people thought they had him, the whole thing with my dad where they had idols and all that. Yeah, he let him keep idols and all that. But then the family would all get together and this man would walk in, etc., etc., etc. It's like he's shaving himself completely bald. He doesn't trust any of us. Oh, he would tell him, go shave your legs, woman. You don't fuck with King Solomon, okay? Do you understand me? You do not fuck with him. Okay? He'll kick your ass so fucking hard. Okay? Life's eternal and grace is infinite. You'll never live it down. Okay? He tells me what I need to hear right when I need to hear it. And he explains it in scientific validity through genetics and what the body's doing and everything. He's the coolest. And I completely adore King Solomon. Most of you don't because you're scared shitless. It's like, man, it's not fair that guy's, from this testicular sac that you put Steffi through and damaged that, they'd have to, have, women artificially inseminated after Steffi tried to rip my testicles off and damage them and stuff. Yeah, I have an injury there, and then when the poison up, it does do the injury. No, I'm not going to die from testicular cancer or prostate cancer or anything like that. It's just real hard to get out, but I will recover. Oh, it's really hard. The scar tissue where the melanoma is on the shins, and a lot of people, it's not fair. Guys, they poisoned Bob to death. Okay? With me, this is a science experiment to manipulate me, to get me to do what they want me to do because I'm the Messiah. I'm the focal point of prayer. Even more so than, yes, and Hail Selassie was the line of John the Baptist. I told you the story many times, In that time, because they kill us off to keep us separated, in that time, that beautiful face, that was the temple for that beautiful soul. Okay, looked this face for the temple for this soul and said, no, they're going to turn you into a god because your mom migrated north and the Romans ain't going to make somebody that even comes close to resembling, the Egyptian empire face as a god. It's going to be somebody who looks like them. Oh, I don't want to hear this. He goes, I don't give a damn what you want to hear. You need to hear it because you need to understand it. You need to know it. You need to understand the eternal responsibility of it. My brother, my father, my son, I understand my brother, my father, my son. I can do this. The hard part was, I told my dad that too, and they all said, well, he rose Lazarus from the dead. Don't you think if I was God and I was going to raise somebody from the dead that the hypocrites killed, it would have been John? That's one of the first things Jesus told me. I'm God. And if I wanted to teach him a lesson, well, it's because when they cut John's head off, John already was so good he had an e-ticket straight to heaven, right next to Dave Miscavige and his surveillance equipment and the rental house in Santa Fe. Yeah. And the guest room? Well, trust me, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Not in the bathroom, though, where Earl went in the mirror and said, Jesus, what was that? What was that? Those poor girls. Those poor, beautiful girls. They didn't do anything wrong to you. Okay. And the nice thing about it is we know for sure that we can't be certain that anything that you consider bad that they had to try to survive would have happened if you didn't have a virtual presence in the house trying to dick measure of me. And trust me, you won. You're a bigger dick. You shot the other guys out of the sky. You chose to kill over science and money rather than stand up for the Lord's Prayer. And you guys chose to do that 2026 years ago. We can't go back and sit there. We could go back to 2009, but that's not going to happen. We could go back to 2013, but that's gone bye-bye. We could go back to 2016, 17, the 6th, 7th, 7th type, but that's it. Well, that's just it. Who's dragging minds? Come out and take out, you saved us. It's not happening, right? We can't even go back to June of 2026 and get you back your manhood so your women can feel the virtue of a real man. We're already in July of 2026, heading towards Earl. We're 18 days from Earl's 60th birthday. He's such a gorgeous guy. I agree. Okay, I'm going to stop this one here because I don't want to wait too long for it to load because I want to get my rest. Okay, we will talk tomorrow. We'll keep working on, the technology. As far as human beings, I always hope that I could wake up tomorrow and find this at 500,000 views by lunchtime. Okay. But I always hope that. And then who did it? It was Tom Cruise, right? And John Hamm. What about John Hamm? He's funny. I like John Hamm. Could it be John Hamm instead of Tom Cruise? Well, I'm being selfish and I want what I want. The heart wants what the heart wants. I'm just kidding. No, you're not. Yeah, John Hamm's kind of dumb and Tom Cruise, cocky and arrogant. He's a real shit. Do you like him? No, not at all. Trust him? Not a lick. Okay? Don't trust Dave Miscavige either. Do you? Okay. But I love everybody. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. Okay. And soul has to feel its worth, right? July 19th, 1966. All right, guys. I love you, man. Peace out.